According to a study by Yale University called The Paradox of Declining Female Happiness, women's overall happiness was always greater than the average man's until the 1970s, when their happiness levels began to erode compared to their male counterparts. Then in the 90s, for the first time since data has been collected, women are now far less happy than men, and the gap continues to grow. But why? Today's Western women have more advantages than just about anyone on the planet. They have top-of-the-line education, or so they think. They have access to just about any goods and services in existence, and they have the money to pay for it themselves. So what's the problem now? Could it be an abundance of choices coupled with less accountability for their actions that have combined to create a toxic mess? A big brother government that caters to their every whim? A culture that tells them that they deserve everything under the sun and more? Or is it something less complicated, like you men are still not giving them what they want? Well, let's find out what they want. Maybe it's something really reasonable. First, we have a study from OkCupid, which discovered that women found 80% of men either unattractive or below average. Now just think about that for a sec. 8 out of 10 men are unattractive? You'd think that'd be closer to 50%, but oh no, they only want the top 20 percentile.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Woof. Okay, as a woman, I would like to know your thoughts on that before I say anything.
I don't know. I just feel like that's pretty high. You find 8 out of 10 men to be just ugly?
Damn. That's
I don't know. I'm wondering where y'all at. I guess, what they do to study? I don't think so.
I think a part of that is confusion. I think there's a little bit of confusion because the standards for beauty for the most part has always been women. It's not so much been men. Yes, there have always been men that have been considered handsome throughout time, especially since TV became a thing. So there's always been a traditional look that's been considered handsome in every society. But for the most part, people concentrate on women because the beauty of the women is more important than the handsomeness of the man. Yes. That being the case, what has happened to me in the Western society is that women have taken what they see women doing and they judge men on the same scale, and you can't.
Why not? Because it's ridiculous.
For instance, I got on here and I told my wife that I was going to be looking dusty because I just was in a certain space and I just, we're not going anywhere.
You sound like you're making excuses.
So even though we're coming on camera, I had to do something, but I was like, I ain't got to do a lot. Mind you, up to 2,000 people could easily see this video.
Stupid.
But I still was like, man, we ain't going nowhere. Anybody doing that? No! That's how, but a lot of guys think like that. What I did to get on this video, I made sure my head was shaved. I ain't look crazy.
You look dusty.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
She's lying.
I comb my beard.
Comb your beard. I don't want to hear that.
I put some lotion on my face and I threw on a sweater. Yeah, I was trying to hide my
undershirt.
I just was like, man, I don't even care my undershirt. But that's all I did. My wife doesn't usually do a lot of makeup, but she did certain things to herself, her appearance, more than I did. She tends to be very simple when it comes to makeup and stuff like that. She'll put on some, not usually lipstick, maybe some lip gloss or just some chapstick, and she do her little eyebrows. And maybe she'll do a little highlight for the eyebrows. And that's usually all she does on a daily basis. If somebody's going to see her. If she's in the house, she won't even do that much, right? The average woman will do a little bit more. They'll put on a little bit of makeup here or there, especially if somebody's going to see them. So when you're talking about what women think of men, it's usually when they're out. When men are out, I'm doing probably the max that most dudes gonna do. You got some lotion on the face. I'm gonna get my hair cut and I'll put on some chapstick and that's it.
Yes.
But y'all go and y'all do eyebrows, y'all do eyelashes, y'all do lipsticks, y'all do blush, y'all do foundation. Y'all would do a whole 2-hour routine and then you'll judge the man by that. Men in general do not do that, number one. Number two, if a man did that, you would think they were weird.
That's weird.
That's that metrosexual.
Yeah,
Remember that term was popular years back?
But guys don't do all of that extra because when they do all of that extra, they start to look effeminate. So when you're judging men and you're judging women and you're like, well, women be sort of fly, but dudes, no, it's because we don't do all of the extra that y'all do. And I think that has gotten into their heads and they're not taking into consideration, you come out the house and all you do is do a real simple thing with your hair, a simple thing, because most guys do simple things. Most guys don't spend an hour making sure their hair is flipped in a certain way and stuff like that.
What kind of chemical you got in there? Only juices and berries. That ain't nothing but ultra-perm.
There are guys who do that, but that is probably a part of that 20% she's talking about. Most guys don't do that. Something simple with your hair, make sure it's neat.
Just make it nice.
Just make it nice and neat.
Just make it nice and neat. That'll be $8.
Put on some chapstick or something on your lips. Put on some lotion. And that's how you come out the house every day. And the beauty standards and what women see in each other would change drastically. Yep. Because right now we're believing the Instagram filter, because women come outside with the Instagram filter on their face all the time. And it's been like that long before Instagram was here. That's not your real level.
Ouch.
I'm gonna be honest, that's the fake level. That's the dressed up. That's the, I'm gonna make myself look 1 or 2 clicks higher than I really am.
Yeah, just got real.
That's what that is. Your real level is just a simple, my hair ain't busted, I got on some chapstick and some lotion.
Seriously? Yeah.
That's your real level, because that's what men do. And I think that there's a conflating of what women do because of beauty, because it is more important for women, understandably, especially if they were trying to attract a mate the best they can get. I understand why you do it, but don't conflate that with what men do and think that, oh, they not as whatever as us. No.
I just thought that was kind of low. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I mean, you know, low key, she's taking shots. She was taking some shots because she was like, this is why y'all messed up. But, you know, I don't see no ring on her finger either, just to be honest. I feel her vibe, but I don't see no ring on her finger. So I don't know what her situation is.
So what are the rest of you guys supposed to do? And what is it that the women are complaining about? Facial disfigurements or a pot belly the size of Texas? Well, let's take a look at another surprising survey.
Men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? Women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch.
What are women too picky about here?
Men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. She has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner.
Come on, man.
Bruh.
Y'all making us look bad.
I don't know what area this in, but Lord have mercy.
300 things? Good grief. Like, what in the world? People really don't know by now the 80-20 rule.
Bruh.
Y'all don't know that?
That's all you gonna get is 80%.
Like, nobody's perfect. You're not going to get 100% of what it is you want in anybody.
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all don't know that by now?
I feel so bad. Just because I'm a little bit of a jerk, you ain't gonna be nobody's 100%.
Yikes.
You not.
Yeah.
None of us are.
you ain't perfect.
None of us are. And sometimes it's gonna be something that they need, and you're not gonna be able to give it to them, and they're gonna have to see if they just can deal with it.
Unless you Jesus, you're not getting everything.
No, absolutely not.
Okay?
Okay.
He the only one that's going to be able to give you everything you want?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Excuse me, everything you need.
Because I'm about to say, he's not even gonna try to give you everything you want.
Ouch.
He's not even gonna try.
What you need, not what you want.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit all the buttons. Thank you. The women she's talking about, because I don't think this is all women,
Okay.
the women she's talking about would not be satisfied with Jesus.
Wow.
That should tell you something right there.
That's crazy.
And speaking of that, that should tell y'all something right there. If Jesus ain't even going to give you everything you want. Amen. If he only going to give you everything you need, you might want to reevaluate. Wow. I'm just saying.
Part of the issue, I think, is something we talk about often, which is the whole purpose conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The emphasis is not on purpose necessarily, it's on career, which may not necessarily be your purpose. It's about doing something that's going to bring you a certain amount of money, not necessarily something you were built for, and that would bring you joy and peace.
Joy!
Joy.
So that's part of the issue. So if you're working a job, it's hard. You work a lot of hours while you enjoy the benefits of it, but you actually hate the job. When you come home, you're bringing home a bunch of added stress. That is for both men and women. But the thing is that now that women are fully engrossed into the job market, which I personally think they should be, they're experiencing this on a higher level. What a lot of people don't understand is that people in the 1950s, going into the 1960s, where the women were staying at home, that was not the entire American population. That was not something that was common for everyone, because everyone could not afford that. That was only for people who could afford it.
Right.
And then even them, that was not something that was normal in history. Now, this is a misconception I had too until I was opened up to certain things. Women have been working since they had the AD at the back of the year date. Women have been working at least, and they were working before then. So women have been working all throughout history. It's just that we had this constructed thing in our mind because of television and because of what they were showing on TV about this small percentage of the population that all women were not working. Y'all always been working. Now, y'all weren't working certain jobs.
I was going to say the type of jobs. It was very, I don't know if domesticated would be the right word, but
it wasn't as hard labor because you got to understand, like we were in the middle of coming out of the Industrial Revolution. So there were a lot of factory jobs. There were a lot of metal works because we were building the country. So there were a lot more of those then than even now, because now everything's automated. A lot of those things that are automated now were things that men had to do. And you're not going to see a bunch of women standing there hammering steel. That's not what happens.
Yeah, we didn't like make clothes, make things of that.
Yeah, so women have always worked, and we got
part-time jobs.
Right.
We were in the home with our
primarily,
kids,
yes.
Primarily.
Yes.
The family was the number one job. And then with the extra time, in our spare time, we did those other things to help be a helpmeet to our husband with whatever funds that we would bring in.
I would say that in American society, as much as they could work, they would, because you know there were a lot of boundaries to women working. So that's just a fact of our history. We just need to call it what it is. We have to understand that there's always a trade-off for whatever you want. If there's a trade-off for deciding to be a housewife, there's a trade-off for deciding to be a career woman.
Yes.
And it has to be understood that your biology is going to call for you at a certain point to want to have a family for most of you.
That's true.
Human beings are social. Women are the social ones of human beings, if that makes sense. So women want the family and the family structure and all of that stuff most of the time, even more than men, even though there is, of course, overlap, as there usually is between men and women. There's usually overlap because we're very similar, but we're not exactly the same. Women tend to lean more social than even men do. So there comes a point, especially when your body starts to realize that its baby making days is coming to the end, where they be like, oh, I want to do family. And there are a lot of studies out there and a lot of personal experiences of women who are out there killing it. Jordan Peterson, I just watched a video where he was talking about, I saw women killing it and crushing it as lawyers, and they were some of the most together people that you've ever met just in general, and they were killing it, and the law firms wanted to keep them. And then when that biological clock, the wall as they call it, started to click, they was like, yeah, later for that I want to have these kids. And the law firms were struggling to keep them because they wanted to go and have a family. And I think that is the thing that we need to understand. There is a thing inside of women and inside of men too, but it's not as intense, that want to have families for most of us. We should not be basing our entire society on what a minority of us do and think, no matter how successful they are, because you're going to get what it is you work for.
Yep.
So if you only work for your career, that's what you're going to get. Family is not just going to fall into your lap. You're going to have to work for it. And you might not get it because you did not work on who you are, being able to work with a person to have a family. You worked on your career. On the other side, if you're always thinking about family and that's all you're thinking about and that's all you want to do, you go into a family, then at 40, after you done raised your kids and they finally left the house and they're 18 and they're in college and you want to join the workforce, and then you realize that you have no working skills. It's hard for you to find a job and you got to work at Walmart so that you can start to show people that you even have the ability to do work. There's a cost for both sides. And I think that we need to be able to assess that there are costs to whatever decision you make on either side and figure out what you personally want to do in your life. And stop letting Instagram and this attraction to excess, because that's really what is happening, to dictate how we think our society should be run. Most women and most men do not want to really be high value because we don't want to give up that amount of time, because most of us are not enough in purpose to actually enjoy it anyway.
Really? Well, that's interesting.
We do it just for the money and we'll be miserable.
Facts.
And then to relieve the pressure and the stress of it, we'll just end up having random hookups with people because now we have the access because of the money and stuff like that to do that. The woman can get it because you're a woman, especially if you're attractive, you keep yourself in shape, you can just get it. And then a man, I have money, so I can get it. You have to understand what type of life you're signing up for and be honest about it. Stop getting mad at people for telling you the truth. No matter which way you go, whether you decide to be a housewife or you decide that you want to be a career woman, if you just go only for that thing, you're going to be lacking in the other area because you put no work in.
You know that I'm telling the truth.
Really, when you think about it, that's common sense.
But use your eyes, your common sense.
It really is. But the thing is, we're so busy being offended that we're not seeing what the reality is. You know, I think it sucks. Women are unhappy no matter what, which is sort of kind of what she's saying.
Comment down below and let us know what you think. And if you made it thus far through the video, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Let us know that you appreciate what we're putting down, okay? We like commitment over here on this side.
And if we don't get commitment, we don't go with the draws.
Listen, okay?
Ain't no booty shaking going on over here.
And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting, but then he did this Austin Powers impression and I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again.
So let me get this straight. 80% of guys would be thrilled to find a woman who was cute, kind, and fun to talk to. But Western women thought that only getting 80% of what they wanted would be settling. And you'll be disqualified from the dating pool if you're wearing the wrong color belt. Now, I've said it before, but you guys are so screwed. Apparently, they've been told that every one of them deserves a flawless man to complement their own perfection. And that means that men with a few dings and dents get left in the dust.